So chapter we're going to start now is cost of capital. As the name suggests, cost of capital means the cost that is incurred to raise the capital that we need. So basically there are four kinds of capital or the sources of fund through which a company can raise its fund. So these are debt, preference shares, equity, and retaining. So the most familiar type of security that we use for raising fund is equity and debt, and also there is preference shares and retained earnings. So let us dissect one by one and see what these type of funds mean and how we're going to raise it, and what are the procedure for calculating the cost of raising each of the following source of fund. Okay, so firstly, meaning of cost of capital. So, what is cost of capital? Cost of capital is the return that is expected by the providers of the capital. So, let's say there's this person X. So, Mr. X is a very rich guy. So, he has a lot of money. Okay, and let us take a company Y. Which is not so well performing company. So Y needs, let us say, 50 lakh rupees for starting a new project which would result in a lot of profit. So Y Limited is planning to earn a fancy amount of profit by investing in a project which worth rupees 50 lakh. But the most sad part is that Y doesn't have the fund that it requires. So what does Y do? Y would approach Mr. X, who is a very rich person, to buy shares from his company so that he can get the money he wants to. The company can get the money it needs to start the new project. So this is how share capital works. So basically, I know you people are in CA intermediate level and you know the meaning of shares, but just to know, sorry, just for sake of understanding, let me just explain how share capital works. So let us take the same Y Limited. So Y Limited, let us say Y Limited has not divided its share capital. Now he's the person who is owning the company. Now he needs fund, and all the company's control and everything lies with Mr. Y. Okay. Now Y is in need of money. So Y has a company, but Y doesn't have enough fund to start a new project or continue his production or whatever the operation that he does in order to raise the fund. So what he does is he says he'll share the company, he'll share the ownership. So in return, the person who's going to join the company as a owner should give him fund. It's more like a partnership. So what is being sold here is the ability and right to control and make decision in the company. So let us say he has divided the company into 4 shares. So he will have 1 share, and the other shares, whomever is going to pay him the money he wants or the money he quotes for the particular share, will get the share in the company. So this is how share capital basically works. So in order to invest here, there will be people who are like potential investors of the company and would like to know how the company performs or what the company is planning to perform in the future, and how is it going to get profit, and how he is going to be get benefited by buying the shares of the company. So this basically acts as a basis for capital cost of capital. So cost of capital is the return that is expected by the providers of capital. Now here, since they are buying the ownership, they expect profit because owners get profit. But now let us say it's not the owner, it is someone who is going to give you money as a loan. So let it be a debenture. Okay, so debt is a system where you get your money and you'll have to pay interest on it along with the principal after a certain year, right? So debt works like that. So for debt, the return that the provider of money expects is the interest plus the principal, and with respect to share, it is the profit. So these are called the expectations of the person who is going to give you the money for whatever purpose you want. Now, when an entity produces finance from either source of the whatever I have listed, pay some additional amount of money besides the principal amount. The additional paid to these financiers may be either one of the payment or regular payments. So once a payment is the profit and a regular interval payment is the interest part. So if you want to get a fixed amount of return on a stable basis and you don't want to take much risk, you would opt debt. And if you want more risk and more return, then you can go for equity. So that's how raising of fund works. Now, significance of cost of capital. Why is cost of capital important? So the first one is evaluation of investment option. It helps in estimating the benefits that are available from the investment opportunities. Okay, so discounting them with relevant cost of capital will give you what is the benefit that you're going to get by investing in the particular company. Then financial decision basically involves what I am going to invest in, or what I'm going to do to get the money I want, and how am I going to raise it. So these are the basic financial decisions that a person takes. Then designing of optimal credit policy. So what is a credit policy? Credit policy is, if I'm going to lend someone today, when am I going to get back the money? How am I going to get back the money? What are the intervals that I'm going to schedule the repayment? All these things involved in credit policy. So this helps in designing an optimal credit policy where the a person who's lending will not have the risk of bad debt, and the person who's going to pay will not have the struggle, or will be comfortable in making payments. So these are all the decisions that are considered while calculating the cost of capital. So this makes it important for every person to calculate the return that is required from each investment, so that he can meet his fixed expenses and other things. Now, determination of cost of capital. Cost is not amount in which the company plans to pay or actually pays. Rather, it is the expectations of the stakeholders. The stakeholders provide the capital. So who are the stakeholders? These are the potential investors, or the investors who have already put their money in the company and expecting a return from it. So they are the stakeholders. So they are going to be the one who are going to get the benefit out of the firm's profit or losses. They get everything that the company is basically going to give them out of the investment that they have made.